welcome back to Influence, a show all about the College of Agriculture and Life Sciences. I'm your host, Lacey Gordon. Here with me today is Mr. Bryan Wilson. How are you doing, Bryan?
I'm doing good, Lacey.
Good. Well, we're glad to have you here with us.
It's good to be here.
Yeah. So, Bryan, you've recently got an incredible honor, one of the highest at the university, as being our National Alumnus of the Year. Congratulations on that.
Thank you. I'm still pretty much in shock over being selected. Yeah.
Well, we are so proud that an alum of the College of Agriculture and Life Sciences is able to get this award, and somebody so deserving as yourself. We're just excited to have you here today.
Thank you so much. Yeah.
So I know you said you were shocked, but tell me a little bit about what that honor meant to you.
Well, I mean, given my family's background, you know, my dad was born in 1933, grew up during the Depression, and son of a sharecropper, and really very poor, and at times almost starved to death. And after he enlisted in the Army, he got out of the Army and he came back, and he enrolled in classes at what was then Illinois Junior College, and took all he could, and later started taking classes at Mississippi State. He would commute and take correspondence courses and summer classes, whatever he could, just kept chipping away. And he finally obtained a bachelor's degree in 1960 after my sister and I had already come along.
Really?
And so it was not easy to do, you know, while raising a family. He did everything from wash cars to drive school bus routes, whatever he could to make a living. My mom worked in a factory, but that college degree really allowed him to pull our family up out of poverty. And so to come to this point in time and be selected as the National Alumnus is just, it's unreal.
Yeah. Well, I know you have built quite the career for yourself, and you've worked hard all throughout your career and still work hard, but it seems like those values from your parents of how they worked hard, and your dad, you know, got that college degree, has instilled that in you.
Yeah, you know, one of the things we, Cindy and I are fortunate enough to, you know, have endowed scholarships, and we host some of the students that receive those at our house. And I always tell them, you know, one of the most important things I think is work ethic. And my parents really instilled a strong work ethic in me at an early age. And, you know, if you work hard and outwork others around you, you'll not only be successful, but you'll lift the work quality of everybody around you. And it really pays off in the long run. And so I'm so thankful that they instilled that in me.
Yeah. Well, this is just an incredible honor, and you are so deserving of this, and I know your parents would be so proud, and so that's just incredible. I know you mentioned that you and Cindy have an endowed scholarship, and y'all both give back across the whole, a lot of units at Mississippi State. So what encourages you to give back to this university?
Well, I think number one, it's the right thing to do for sure. But, you know, I had the privilege of working with a gentleman named Mr. Bobby Martin, and Bobby was actually a former National Alumnus recipient himself, but I got to work with him at various roles at Mississippi State, and also at the Create Foundation, the Boys and Girls Clubs and other things. And I always try to sit by him at the meetings, and one day he said something to me that really impressed me and stuck with me. He said, you know, Bryan, a lot of people in their wills will leave things to their families and institutions like Mississippi State and Create Foundation and so forth. He said, but you know, I like to give back while I'm alive, particularly when it's helping young people, so you can watch where it goes and see them develop and flourish. And he said that's really rewarding, and that really struck me, and it really changed my thinking about it. And fortunately, Cindy and I, as I said, have been very fortunate to be able to give back, and things, you know, like the T.K. Martin Center on campus. They do such a tremendous work with children and, you know, in severe need, and in the process help their families throughout that. Such great work, and those things, you know, as the Bible says, it's more blessed to give than to receive, for sure.
Well, you and Cindy have been so generous to Mississippi State, so also want to thank you for that. And you pour back into the College of Agriculture and Life Sciences, which you're an alum of, and we just can't thank you enough for your support there.
We really enjoy it. I mean, you know, the College of Ag and Life Sciences is a really close-knit group, and in my industry, you know, it's just filled with Mississippi State graduates, and every time we had a chance to hire Mississippi State grad, we would, because we knew they had a strong foundation, you know, and I know we said a lot, but, you know, about Mississippi State being a family, but it truly is, and particularly in the cows.
Yeah. Well, we just are appreciative that you share your family with us at Mississippi State, and you're right, we are just kind of like one big family. Bryan, if you don't mind telling us what you got your degrees in.
So I got a Bachelor's of Science and a Master's of Science, both in entomology. It was a college in itself at that time. It's part of a larger group now. But no, I grew up scouting cotton, and that's the way I actually paid my way through college, and checking insects in the field, and so it was just kind of a natural fit.
Yeah, that's awesome. Well, we'll be right back to hear about Mr. Bryan Wilson's career.
Think you know ag? Think again.
We are creative.
We protect the environment.
We prepare for careers in medicine and conduct research.
We empower people and communities.
We are technology driven.
And we feed and clothe the world. We are the College of Agriculture and Life Sciences at Mississippi State University.
Welcome back. Here with me is Mr. Bryan Wilson still, and now we're going to hear about his career that propelled him to this awesome honor. Tell me a little bit about your career and after you left Mississippi State and where that's led you now.
Well, Cindy and I left college. We moved to Alabama first to work for BASF, and started out in field sales, and then just moved to various other jobs within the organization, and actually at one point we moved to Germany to the headquarters where BASF is located, and had a really good time there, getting to travel around Europe and so forth. But came back to the States, and then I guess 2002 had an opportunity to go to a company called United Agri Products. It was owned by ConAgra Foods at the time, and they were kind of struggling, and put it lightly. But we managed, with the help of private equity, me and some friends, engineer a buyout of the company, and we turned around the performance and got it going in the right direction, and then took it public. It was listed on the NASDAQ exchange, and I think that was 2007, and then 2008 a company out of Canada bought us, and so thought I wanted to retire. I quit about 6 months, and I was bored, climbing the walls. So then a friend of one of the guys actually in the same company, he was the same boat as I was. He called me one day and said, "Look, we got to find something to do."
I'm bored.
And so we started Tacoma Ag, which is a generic crop input company, and that was 2009. And then we grew it, relatively fast with the help of a lot of relationships, a lot of them with Mississippi State ties, like Jeff Tarsi, you and I talked about. It's a good friend of mine. He heads up Nutrients, Global Ag Retail Input, but we grew it and we sold it back in 2018 to a company out of North Carolina.
Yeah, that's incredible, and I know it's probably been really neat along the way to have Mississippi State alums, within the industry. I just feel like even if you're competing, you're all kind of still trying to help each other from that close-knit family.
Absolutely, and I always say, ag industry is like a country club. People change chairs sometimes, but they never leave the industry.
Right.
And throughout the industry, whether it's Nutrien or Helena, any of the big companies there, Mississippi State, for instance, we mentioned Jeff, but at Helena, they're the second largest ag input retailer. And the gentleman that was in charge of purchasing and supplier relations that we work with, it was Mississippi State guy. His name was Milton Allen.
Right.
And then after he retired, the guy that took over, a guy named Ward Bloodworth,
Yeah.
which
Oh,
I know
yeah.
you know Ward.
Yes.
He's in that role today. All Mississippi State guys, and we all try to help each
Right.
other. And even if we were competitors at time, if somebody was in need, we would step up and help them out. And
Right.
that Mississippi State bond means a lot. Yeah.
Well, I know, and all those companies that you mentioned do a great job with mentoring our students, employing our students, giving them internships and opportunities, and so we're just appreciative that they also give back to our students. If you had any advice for students today that are in the ag world, or high schoolers potentially hoping to get into the ag realm or the College of Agriculture and Life Sciences, what would your advice be to them?
Well, number one, to work hard and apply yourself, and whatever your dream is, whether it's being an English teacher or being a ag chemical salesman, whatever it is, to plan on working hard. And I tell them, I tell kids to dream big. I think back to my time. I thought when we were in college, my roommate and I, we'd sit around talking, man, if we could just get a job making $30,000
Right.
a year, we would have it
Yeah.
made. And little did we know, but I think the biggest thing is to work hard, be honest, and be willing to learn. And also, you're going to have to be mobile in today's world. You really need to be mobile, because if you want to really climb the corporate ladder, you've got to sometimes move.
Right.
It's not always easy, but you need to do that. And you always, no matter where you go, you will always learn, and you will always meet new people. Gives you an opportunity to build relationships, and that's probably maybe the most key thing, is building relationships and friendships, because you never know how they're going to help you.
Right.
And I found out all the way back to my Mississippi State time, it's really valuable. So just put your heart and soul into it.
Yeah,
So.
that's great advice, and I know that you've used all those relationships that you had at Mississippi State, and so that's great for our students to hear that, so their classmates now could be people that help them in the future, or companies that they work for, so I think that's, where you said the work ethic and all that is so important. If somebody were to kind of hear about the ag world or something, and they weren't quite sure if they wanted their students to their children to get into agriculture, because there's this stigma around agriculture. And look at the success that you've built, as much like most of our alums. What would kind of be your advice for parents that maybe their kids want to go into ag, or maybe they have some stigmas around agriculture?
I'd say, well, number one, parents, I think, should be supportive of their children's dreams, but also, expose them to agriculture, take them to a farm. Bring them down to Mississippi State. Let them tour the vet school. Let them tour, the agronomy, and talk to the agronomy professors and so forth. But, agriculture feeds the world.
Right.
I always say, people will eat first and take their medicine second. So agriculture is extremely important.
Yeah.
And because people have to eat, there's always going to be a job and a job opportunity. It just depends on which one you want to do. But I'd encourage parents to be supportive and expose their children to agriculture.
Yeah, well, thank you so much for joining Influence Day, and congratulations on being the National Alumnus of the Year.
Thank you, Lacey.
Thanks for watching Influence. We'll see you next time.